Hey everyone, today we're diving into something big, Japan's Specified Skilled Worker Program. This isn't just another visa, it's a system that's totally changing the game for Japan's workforce. So, let's get right into it.
So, first things first, right? Why was this program even created? Well, the answer is pretty straightforward, and honestly, pretty urgent. Japan is dealing with a massive labor shortage. We're talking across a ton of key industries. And this isn't some minor headache. It's a huge national challenge that touches everything, from building our cities to taking care of our elderly.
And to fight this problem, the government came up with a pretty bold solution back in 2019. It's called the Specified Skilled Worker Program. You'll hear it called SSW for short. And the whole idea is to bring in skilled folks from overseas to fill those critical gaps.
Okay, so for our first section, let's break down the basics. What exactly is this new visa and, what makes it so different from the old way of doing things?
The two words you really need to remember here are job-ready skills. See, this program isn't about bringing people in to train them from scratch. Nope, it's all about recruitment. Japan is actively looking for people who can hit the ground running, people who already have the experience to contribute right from day one.
All right, now this next part is super important, especially if you're thinking about this for yourself. The program is split into two types, Type 1 and Type 2. And trust me, understanding the difference is a huge deal because it's going to completely shape your life and career in Japan.
Here's an easy way to think about it. Type 1 is for the ready-to-work talent, folks who have the skills to get the job done right away. But Type 2, that's the next level up. These are the highly skilled experts, the people who might become team leaders or supervisors. That difference is everything.
And when you look at the details, you see just how massive the impact is. With Type 1, you're looking at a 5-year cap on your stay, and bringing your family, that's generally a no-go. But look at Type 2. There's no limit on how long you can stay. You can bring your spouse and kids, and here's the kicker. Your time actually counts towards permanent residency. We're talking about two completely different futures here. But here's the good news. You're not stuck with your first choice forever. There's actually a clear path to level up, so to speak. Once you've got some experience under your belt with a Type 1 visa, you can take a more advanced skills test. Pass that, and you can switch over to that much more powerful, long-term Type 2 status.
Okay, so who is Japan actually looking for? In this next section, we'll get into the nitty-gritty. Which industries are hiring, and what skills do you need to have?
So when this all kicked off back in 2019, the program started with 12 specific industries. These were the areas where the worker shortage was hitting the hardest. Think fields like nursing care, construction, and food service.
But as you can imagine, the need didn't stop there. It's actually grown. And just this year, in 2024, the government decided to expand the program in a big way. Now, it covers a grand total of 16 different fields. That's a lot of new doors opening.
And these 4 new fields really show you how wide the net is being cast. We're talking about automobile transportation, railways, forestry, and the timber industry. It just goes to show you that this program is alive and adapting to whatever the Japanese economy needs right now.
So what's the entry ticket? Well, for most people coming in fresh, you've got 2 main boxes to check. First, you need to pass a skills exam in your field to prove you've got the chops. And second, you have to pass a Japanese language test, usually around the N4 level, just to show you can communicate effectively at work. Okay, but listen to this, because this is a total game changer for a ton of people. If you've already been in Japan under the technical intern program and you finish the second part of it, you get a massive shortcut. You get to skip both the skills test and the language test. That makes switching over so much easier.
All right, let's move on to a really big question, and one of the things that makes this visa so different from the old systems. Let's talk about flexibility. What if you're working somewhere and you want to change jobs?
Well, under the SSW program, you absolutely can. You have the right to change jobs, or tenshoku, as they say in Japan, and let me tell you, this is a huge deal. It gives you the kind of freedom and control over your career that's pretty similar to what Japanese workers have. That's a night and day difference from the old, much more rigid technical intern program.
Now, there are a couple of rules, of course. The biggest one is that your new job has to be in the same industry. So, for example, if you're a skilled welder, you can move from one manufacturing company to another. But you can't suddenly decide to become a chef in the food service industry. You got to stay in your lane, professionally speaking.
And yeah, there's some red tape. You can't just quit your job on a Friday and waltz into a new one on Monday. You have to formally apply to immigration for a change of status of residence. And here's the really crucial part. You cannot start that new job until you get the green light. That can mean a little gap between jobs where you're not working, so you definitely need to plan for that.
But the really important thing to know is that you're not just thrown to the wolves. The system actually has protections built right in. Your employer is legally required to support you, either directly or by hiring a special support agency. And that support covers things like helping you find a place to live, giving you chances to improve your Japanese, and just generally making sure you're settling in okay, both at work and in your daily life.
Okay, so let's zoom out for our final section. What's the big picture here? What does all of this mean for the future? When you boil it all down, the Specified Skilled Worker Program is Japan's big strategic move to tackle one of its toughest problems. For Japan, it's a lifeline to keep the economy strong. And for foreign workers, it's a huge leap forward. We're talking more freedom, a clearer career path, and way better support than anything that came before it. And that really leaves us with one final fascinating question. As more and more people, hundreds of thousands of them, use this program to build lives and careers here, how is that going to change Japan? You know, how will all this new talent, new culture, and new energy really shape what Japanese society looks like in the years to come?